Hi, my name is Brianna Johnson, and I am here to talk about cultural competency and what that means to me as an educator. Cultural competency, I believe, is where teachers are able to set aside and recognize their own bias and take ethical responsibility for children that they teach in their community. It is important for teachers to maintain ethical responsibility on and off of campus in order to culturally be competent, because when you take responsibility, you are aware of your actions and views. You are able to truly provide a fair education, and in order to be competent, I believe you must be a positive part of your community. And ways that educators can do this is volunteer in their community, run sports programs, after school programs, and educators should be seen supporting their communities to create a bond, and that bond will only benefit them in their classroom. And ethical practice, I believe, is the core support for cultural competence. If you don't have to be religious, if the educator has morals, standards, ethics, then they can create an environment that is a safe place. And that safe place is where students can just be them. And I truly believe that teachers need to be culturally competent in order to be effective educators, because when a student feels safe, their education is only going to flourish. And when you're an educator, your job is to teach children, but it is so much more than that. Educators should be in constant reflection of their teaching, because every group of kids is different, every individual is different. And when I analyze my own world views and reflect on my cultural competency, I feel that I strive morally at the highest level, but that's not to say that I don't have room for improvement. I believe this is why I am drawn to be an educator, and I'm constantly in self-examination of my behavior towards others and how I communicate with them. I do this so I could assure I take into account all aspects of how I communicate, culturally, individually, emotionally, physically, mentally. You need to be aware of these things. And I'm also committed to human rights, civil rights, and social justice. I take all this into account when making decisions and communicating. I will strive to set my worldviews to the side, though I am still influenced by them. I take in all information, all perspectives when it comes to culture, and I do set that to the side. And I believe I strive my best to include all people in recognizing their needs and when their needs are not being met. I get involved when I see a gap that needs to be filled, and I advocate for culture diversity while standing in my beliefs. And I feel by doing this, I'm a real well-rounded person and a good candidate for an educator. I will continue to strive and grow in the knowledge, and I believe that will give me the capability and professionalism I will need to handle controversy and culturally based issues as an educator working in the K through 12 education system. Holding my position on the continuum chart allows me to value diversity, and by valuing diversity, I can support ESL students, which is English second language learners. And by holding that position, I can support ESL students with joy instead of looking at it as a hindrance to the classroom. And when looking at what I can further do to deepen my cultural competency, I turn to my faith. I believe that my faith allows me to have an open mind and a deep understanding and a view that we are ultimately all one. I feel that by staying in prayer and reflection, I am able to understand my own cultural bias and that will only allow me to deepen my views. And having cultural competency and teaching in a diverse classroom are two totally different things, but I believe you do have to have one in order to do the other. I believe it will take experience to effectively teach in a diverse classroom. I believe it will take support from staff, administration, and the district that I work in. As an educator, I do take an oath to my future class that I will always teach with my heart and promise to be responsible for how I educate myself so I can effectively apply new and experienced strategies in my class to assure that all children's needs are met and that every child feels safe, supported, and valued. And as an educator, you should always strive to better yourself. And that's only going to help your students culturally. There are many ways teachers could do this through training, experience, resources. I worked with a kindergarten class, and the teacher let the parents decide if they wanted to be at home for teacher-student conference or in the classroom setting. He strongly encouraged at-home visits, in which I had the opportunity to join in on and research. And I plan on implementing this technique in my classroom. I feel this is the best way to gain cultural competency across the board. This allows me as a teacher to be accessible to parents that may not have transportation, childcare, parents may be separated. It allows meetings to be flexible and even held on the weekends. The most important thing that I've taken away from this practice is that you get to see what makes the student them. And you are exposed to their culture. And this connects with your community and students, and it allows tremendous growth with cultural competency. I will gain the knowledge needed to better serve each student and provide anything that is lacking. And being a part of your community in such a way is proven to fill gaps in cultural diversity in education. I will also keep track of students' academic process to make sure that the tools and strategies that I'm implementing are working and that I can make any changes if needed. Educators, are always exposing themselves, and it is a very vulnerable profession. When exposing yourself to cultural diversity, to your students, you're also taking your cultural diversity into consideration, and that affects how you teach. And bringing this all together, an analogy I could use is like baking a cake. You need all the fixins, and they need to be mixed in a certain order, and you have to follow the directions. And when done the right way, you could smell the sweet aroma coming from the oven. The smell will fill the classroom, and it'll create an atmosphere that you have created for students, individually and as a whole. All the ingredients make the perfect engaging lessons, and when you will have satisfied the social and academic needs of your class by taking all of these steps and by being diverse. You have your cake at the end, and you get to enjoy your culturally diverse creation that everyone helped make. My class will look like a cake. Ingredients that have made something fun, great, and structured. And by creating a culturally diverse classroom, it'll be consuming. And by doing this, I feel that you will have the respect of all backgrounds. And by creating a space where you try to be the best for every child, you make it about the child and not about yourself, not about your beliefs. You make it about your community, what your community needs. And within that, the children could be a positive part in their community and build their own community. And I will just be there to help them build their community based on their individual skills and abilities. I plan on leading by example, and teaching, guiding students to expose, reflect, and learn what cultural diversity means to them and their community. And culture will be taught with everyone in mind and most of all respect. And I believe that when you could do this, that you will be culturally competent. Thank you.